Welcome to Sharing Hope. I'm your host, Jamie George, and our guest today is Mr. Ted T. Ted is a Grammy-winning songwriter, engineer, and producer who has crafted the music of artists such as Toby Mac, MuteMath, Newsboys, Brit Nicole, Rebecca St. James, David Crowder, Celine Dion, and lately he's been spending a ton of time with our friends Mercy Me and For King and Country. Welcome, Ted T.
So good to see you.
You're at the Mercy Me cabin right now, is that right?
I am. I'm here. I'm up in this little attic B studio room that they have set up.
Fun.
Getting to collaborate with other producers. Jordan Malowski is in this week, and it's just been fantastic. Cool. And these guys are so great. They've got this cool cabin set up on a hill in Franklin, and it's gorgeous. Just kind of, you get here and it's like you're somewhere else. It's pretty amazing.
I think I hear drums in the background. Somebody.
You hear
Someone's on the kit.
Should we sneak down and see them?
No. Oh, well, yeah. Let's do it. Sure. Yeah, that'd be fun. I've not done that with interview before.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, it feels like investigative journalism. I need some music in the background. So this is where the music will be here. The next Mercy Me album will emerge from this place. Is Bart there?
He is. Look at Bart. He's writing as we speak, singing melodies in. Can you see that?
Whoa, don't disrupt him because he's in his zone, man. Like,
look, we got Brown Bannister sitting there.
Whoa.
Applying hand sanitizer.
Brown is staying clean. That's good.
Brown is keeping us in check.
Hey, hello.
Hey, buddy.
What's up, brother?
Oh, just trying to sing through my mask.
That mask you have on today, pretty cool.
It's my built-in pop filter.
Oh man, you look good. I like it.
Just can't fog my glasses. Probably got to figure that out.
Could you add a cowboy hat to that?
What's that?
Could you add a cowboy hat to your mask? You would look good.
I'm thinking about hot gluing glass stems to an actual pop filter in my studio, just being the whole thing that covers. It'd be amazing.
I love it. Sweet. You're having fun with Ted. I'm glad to hear it.
Oh, heck yeah, man. I'm having a blast. Getting very little done because we're having too much fun.
Too much fun. I like your cut, by the way. That looks smooth.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I was going to do it once and then grow it out, see how long it took. But now I'm kind of like, no, I think I'm going to cut it back again. So,
I love it.
Why? I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah. I love it.
Be comfortable.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Well, good to see you, brother.
All right, good seeing you, man.
Who's this? Brown.
Mr. Brown Bannister, Jamie George, great to meet you, sir.
How you doing?
Thanks for guiding these wonderful people.
Oh, blind leading the blind.
I understand.
Yeah.
Hey, team. What's up, gang?
There we are.
What's up?
I love this picture of Bart.
And look at everybody's so patient with you, Ted.
This is true. This is very, very, very true. See, guys.
I love it. That's fantastic. Well, Ted, this is a treat. I mean, of all the interviews I've done, this is the first time we've had like a moving interview, a roving cam.
Hey, it's always got to keep it interesting.
Yeah,
right?
Keeping it interesting. I love it. So you're working on like 3 or 4 albums at the same time. I know you're working with the Newsboys and our friends For King and Country. Are you almost done with the Christmas album? How far along are you with those guys?
That record has come together at record-breaking pace. It's been amazing.
Oh.
We tracked most of it in a week and have been working on overdubs. Well, see, I'm out of breath after that. Running up and downstairs. That record will be done the first week of August.
Wow.
So I know, flying.
So it'll be out.
Fun.
It'll come out for this Christmas.
It'll be out for this Christmas.
Beautiful, man.
Yeah,
that's exciting.
I'm super excited about it. There's new songs, some originals. It's gonna be fun.
Good.
And I can't wait for you guys to hear the new Mercy Me stuff. The new Newsboys stuff is awesome. The Riley Clemens stuff's awesome. It's really great.
Riley Clemens, that's right. Yeah, I don't know how do you have time to eat and sleep? Oh, there's your bed right behind you. That's how.
See, Bart's so nice. He just says, you set up a little napping room.
Okay, so for folks who don't know how the whole production side of music works, Can you give just a quick, like, 101, a band or a singer like Bart, Joel, Luke, whatever, they have an idea for a song. They talk to their label or whoever they're about, we're going to make an album. And then what? How do you get involved, and how do you guide them through the process, and what do you do?
Well, it's kind of different with each artist, which is the fun of it, because the job changes. But basically our role is to come in and work with the artist to get their song, first help them get the song developed, whatever that looks like. If it's co-writing, great. If it's just helping them take it and get the right arrangement for it, awesome. You start there and then work into recording it, doing the recording and cutting all the vocals and mixing it. So, but our job is just to come and kind of support the artist in doing what they're doing.
So you're really, it feels like you have to kind of play several roles. Like sometimes you, and artists are notorious for being sensitive. Like, you're creating art. Like I'm an author. With my editor, I would always be like, don't crush me.
Right.
You're trying to bring art into the world. It's a fragile thing. Are there times you're hand-holding? Are there times you're like a coach? Are there times you're like almost like a father? Are there times you're like an employee? I mean, does it feel like do you have to wear like different hats at different times?
Definitely. Making records it's a service business for guys that produce and engineer. I mean, we're here to serve the artist and help them figure it out. And a lot of times, for me at least, it's trying things and getting it wrong before we get it right. Recording arrangement, going back. Like today, we came back to a song that we recorded last night. And when I got home, I was like, man, I was singing the melody in my head. I thought, I wonder if this is just too slow. And so then Brown introduced us to this app on your phone where you can hold it up to anything and it just shows you the tempo, which is awesome. So I was just like tapping on the table and it told me, oh, that's 118 BPM. Well, we'd only recorded it at 111. So we came back this morning and said, hey, what if we sped it up? What if we cut this section out here and there? And it's kind of different every day, which is fun. But when you come in as a producer, you're signing on for the experience of we're going to go through whatever journey that the song needs to go on to get it right.
Wow.
And to me, I define getting it right as having something that the artist hears back and goes, wow, first of all, that's the message that's the message I want to convey. That's the lyric I want to convey. And that's the musical way in which I want to convey it. And I ask everyone going into projects, I'm like, okay, you have to promise me that before we're done, you're going to love this. We're not going to quit until you love it. And you feel something, you hear it. So that's, sometimes it's a lot of the time, it's just mostly just encouragement, and encouraging each other to stay in it. Let's make this as great as it can be.
So a lot of times when people ask me about you or like maybe I'll be like, oh, they're mad scientists. So I'm not far off in that it is a bit like a laboratory, like we're trying this potion. I mean, there's no real set formula. Would that be fair?
Yeah, definitely.
Every record's different. Every song is different. Everything finds its way differently.
Especially if you let it be. If you don't restrict it to, it's going to be this formula. And if you're open to trying things and changing your mind. You have to kind of hold on loosely to ideas.
Wow. Is that easier now than it was when you started?
Technologically, it's easier because, you can have a whole studio in your laptop.
Yeah.
That's great. Back in the day when you have to go into a studio, book a recording studio to go in and you'd record a song, you couldn't just come in the next day and, hey, let's just speed it up a little bit. So the technology has made that a lot easier.
What's the hardest thing when you go back from the early days? What's the hardest thing from the early days, but you look back and you're grateful for it because it shaped you as a producer?
Oh. I think I had the privilege of working with Eddie DeGarmo quite a bit. He and Lynn Nichols, and they were both great A&R guys where they would come in and just push you to try things, rework things. They kind of reframed the way I saw making music because I thought, hey, we just make a song. Oh, this is really cool. And the next day, if I liked it yesterday, there's a good chance I'll like it the next day. And they pushed back and kind of got me open to this mindset of, okay, we have this. Where could it go from here? What else could this song turn into? How could we make it better? And they showed me how to play a song for people and get their response and then gauge it. It's like, just because something resonates with me doesn't necessarily mean it's going to resonate with other people. And that's a critical part of making records, is you're hopefully making them for people to enjoy.
Yeah. Wow, that's really powerful. There's so much. I kind of feel like I want to just keep asking you production questions, but I do want to get to what, because I've been asking everybody this. What's the quarantine been like for you?
The quarantine, well, because I work, I've got a little pool house outside my house. Because I work in there most of the time anyways, it's kind of been the same.
Yeah.
Other than not getting to get out very much, which makes this Mercy Me thing so fun, because I get to leave the house. This is amazing. But the biggest change has been with all the artists off the road. Everyone is eager, especially now. It's like, it's so interesting. After a few months, everyone kind of needed just to, I think they were recovering just from being on the road so hard. And then after a few months in, they're like, all of a sudden I'm hearing from different people like, oh, I've got this new song idea for this and this. When can we get together and chase this one? And it's like a whole new wave of creativity has hit. And now everyone wants to be in making records. So it's a little busier.
Yeah.
Normal, but it's really fun.
So this other question I've been asking everybody, you several times in your life, I know your story a little bit, you've been through seasons of uncertainty. Take us back to we're certainly in one now, right? There's so much uncertainty, and you and I are in Nashville. We just kind of went backwards for, at least a month. They're saying, hey, we got to go back to closing some of the stuff down and all that. In a season of uncertainty, for a lot of us, it's really challenging. Can you take us back to a time in your life where you faced a level of uncertainty and it was really hard? And what did you learn from it, and how are you different now because of it?
About 10 years ago, I went through a divorce, which was a big transitional thing. And there were some long, hard, kind of lost days, months, probably even more years in that season. And the thing that God really, by the way, I'm a Christian, I'm a believer in God, especially after this experience. I thought I was when I was younger, but after going through this, what I experienced with coming into contact with some different Christians, this kindness that they were, I didn't realize at the time, they were actually just coming in, taking a person who probably had made a lot of mistakes, didn't really deserve kindness or patience, and they displayed both. And through them, this is actually just one particular family, they just loved on me. They were so kind and non-judgmental, and God kind of wore me down with kindness, which was awesome.
Did you go through a season where it felt like I'm not deserving of this? Was that part of the reason the kindness was so overwhelming and powerful?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. It was definitely a season of feeling like I've messed up my whole life. Now what?
Yeah.
And God's the grace of God's been awesome. I've been able to really feel that and experience it firsthand. And I was like, wow, there's really something to this.
How are you different as a result of that? Coming through that, experiencing people showing you grace, kindness, God's kind of, pursuit of you.
Yeah.
How are you different because of it?
Well, one of my favorite changes that I've been experiencing, especially now in this season of quarantine and so much uncertainty, is probably something that's kind of redefining the way I look at faith. It's not, I used to think, well, my faith is, that's what I grew up in a Christian school, K through 12, all 35 of us. pretty crazy. But realizing that faith is really believing that God is at work and is that I can actually trust him with things that I can't find answers for. Because I admit, I kind of like to have things figured out. I kind of like to have a plan. And especially in the season now of quarantine. It's like you hear one news report and then another news report, and it's like, well, what do you believe? I'm not even sure what to believe. In those situations, you can just go, all right, Lord, I trust you to move. I trust that you have this in control, and I don't have to have the answer. And I'm going to choose not to have the answer, and trust, and just like, okay, whatever you want to do. And so that's been a fun thing for me, just especially in the season of quarantine. I've been like, hey, starting every day with God, whatever you want to do. Change the schedule, change the plans, just be flexible and be available. And for me, I found a lot of relief in being able to go and lay down the worry and the concern about, because things are crazy right now.
Yeah. You used an interesting word several times. You said the fun. Like you've figured out at this stage in life just how to have fun. Like,
Yeah.
I hear in that kind of a childlike, kind of joy and wonder. Have you always been that way? Is that new?
That's new. That's really new.
And how did you find that?
I would like to say I wish it happened overnight, but it hasn't. It's been a process. It's been a process of practicing letting go of control, letting go of needing to have the answers. And that's hard when you like, as a producer, like I said earlier, we're like facilitators. We're here to help the artist's dream happen. Or as a parent, I'm trying to facilitate my kids being provided for and seeing them develop into healthy people. So in this area, it's like, you just have to go, okay, I'm not going to have the answer, but I can trust. It's kind of maybe reframed how I look at God as a father, just like, okay, I'm going to trust that you have a plan that doesn't make sense to me right now. And then where the fun comes in is I actually ask and pray and ask for peace and for joy in the middle of situations that make zero sense and are quite stressful. Especially with, I'm speaking mostly of what's going on with quarantine, but it applies to the record world too.
Yeah. So what does it feel like when you're having fun?
What a great question. I think for me, it just feels like allowing myself the ability to be relieved of burdens, be relieved of worry, be relieved. And then then fun has a chance of surviving if you're not so focused on everything else. But it is practice. Like I have to check my thoughts all the time when I start trying to work things out and get it all calculated, and then it doesn't work to plan. Then what? I just have to go, okay, I have to trust that there is another solution and that I don't have to have the answer, because I go every day to say, God, I know you have an answer. So I think I probably just gave up the calendar, the schedule, everything. Not that I don't still try, but I'm like, okay, God, whatever you're going to do, I'm just a spoke on this wheel. It's not all about, I think before I let my thoughts just kind of drive my emotions. And now I figured out, okay, I get to choose. I have a say in this. I can change my mind. And so I've been working at practicing letting go of things, practicing being open to God giving peace where it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. This has happened to me a couple of times when I do these interviews, but I'm having this like deep sense of probably spiritual language be like conviction. I think I'm feeling like I want to have fun like Ted does. Like no, I'm serious. I have this sense inside. I can feel something in me like, yeah, I definitely carry it too much. Like I long for that. And you rarely have I spent time with you that a smile doesn't just naturally form across your face. Like it's who you are. You wear it so beautifully, and the light of God shines through you, Ted. And like, I don't know, I have this sense just even right now, we're in real time. Some people will watch this recorded, but that I think people will heal. Like maybe there's something happening in me right now. They'll heal from listening to you. There's a way about you sharing, coming from the brokenness of your own story, but what you've learned I'm like, I want to live like that. I want to live with that ever-present sense of fun. And I'm just a spoke on the wheel. Like, there's so much less pressure in that.
Yes, so much less pressure. It's just thing you have to practice, just remembering that. It's so easy for me. I get so lost in my thoughts and the situations of the day that they are heavy and they do deserve mental focus. But at a certain point, I've found so much peace in just going, hey, God, this is so much bigger than all this. And I have firsthand experienced him not passing by the stranded guy on the side of the road, which would be how I would describe what happened to my life. And I did it to myself. I mean, I take all responsibility for it. I shipwrecked my own life, but
But you were loved in the middle of it.
He didn't give up, though.
Oh, gosh, it's so beautiful. Question for you about, before we got to wrap up, but I wanted to ask you this. The last Grammy Awards, you walked away with a win. You had a Grammy. What is it like to, because especially making music that has a faith element to it, sometimes people are like, you're just, hey, it's just your gift. Do you give your gift? Why should it even be measured? Why do people even give awards for stuff or whatever? But somehow somebody in your business, in your line of work, in your art, and in your craft, a group of people acknowledged that you did a really, really great job. And then they hand you a little statue to say that. What's that like? You go, it's just kind of a thing or whatever, and it's part of the deal? Or you go, no, it is nice to know that people appreciate the hard work that goes into making a song. I mean, I know some of the songs you've worked on have been years in the making.
Yeah, sure. Definitely.
Yeah. What is that like to be acknowledged in that way?
I can say that the unexpected experience I had with that, the thing I loved the most about the Grammy experience and getting to, first of all, when they call your name, like you see your name up on the screen and they call your name and it's like just weird. And they announced the record that won, and I think I sat there. It felt like for 30 seconds, like, wait, what do I? It's like you kind of have to rethink all the steps. Like, am I supposed to go up there? Okay. But my favorite part about
drums, yes.
Yeah, drums. My favorite part about that whole experience was getting to stand up there with Matt Hales and Joel and Luke. And I wish Seth could have been there, but it was just awesome to stand with. I mean, we kind of felt like brothers in arms, just like, we fought for this thing for you're not wrong, years, literally, almost 2 years working on that record and just staying in it, writing songs and coming back and changing a line and another 2 lines and another 4 lines. And, I think the chorus isn't any good now. I'll try a new one. I mean, just, you saw some of that with us on the road. You knew what that was like. And that was the most wonderful part of that experience, was just being able to stand up there with them and go, wow, we're in this together. And I guess I probably didn't think about the peers part about it too much, just because there were so many other amazing artists that were announced. I was just kind of like, oh my gosh, how are we here? And I was kind of fanning out with so many of the cool artists that were all around us. So I was like, this is so awesome.
But what a beautiful picture. So for you, it was the value in the sense that this collaboration, we did this thing together. We gutted it out together.
Yeah. I probably clicked into father mode. I was so proud of Joel and Luke. And,
that's one of those other hats, right? Like the paternal.
Like, oh, look, you guys did it.
Way to go, boys. That's beautiful.
That was the fun part about it. Otherwise, the rest of it's kind of just surreal. Like I remember walking down the hallway in the back, and they have all these photo ops set up. And there's a Grammy that's like huge. Just like a model Grammy that you can go take a picture of, but it's like a human life size, like Jabba the Hutt size Grammy. Massive. And I was just like, wow, this is wild. I just never thought you'd be here.
Yeah.
But it was a wonderful experience, such an honor, and it's fun to celebrate with those guys.
Yeah.
Super.
Well, on behalf of all of us who have been the recipients of your craft and the many, many, many songs and musicians you have served, thank you, my friend. Thanks for taking the time to be with us today. Grateful.
Such an honor. Thank you for having me.